Alright, so before we really get started here this time, we do have a bit of grinding to do, but not card grinding this time. A lot of viewers wanted me to try the Battle Arena without actually grinding for levels, so we're going to give that a shot, but they did recommend that I grind for a couple of pieces of equipment, so that's what we're going to be starting with. So we left off here last time, but we're actually going to be starting the grind back up here in the observation tower so that we can go after some dark armors. So the thing worth noting about the double grips is they are better than the star bracelets, but conditionally. With the star bracelets, if you equip one, you get the bonus from it, it just depends on which arm you equip it on. With the double grips, if you equip one, you get nothing. But if you equip both, you actually get 75 to every stat. So, yeah, that's actually pretty good. So with that out of the way, the next bit of grinding I need to do is for some good armor. This too was recommended. Over the course of the game, defeating certain key bosses, namely the zombie dragons, Death, and Camilla, will make variants of the Fallen Angel appear in the castle. Each of these has a rare armor they'll drop, and by rare, I mean it has a 0.5% drop rate. Luck helps, of course, both in the stat and the general sense. Over in the machine tower, you can find the Lilim. She drops the dark armor. It's a massive boost to defense, 550 if memory serves. But it drops all other stats by 10. Not a huge loss, but a loss nonetheless. In the underground warehouse you can find the Lilith. This one feels like the hardest of the variants to me. She does a lot of damage and is pretty durable. Her drop is the Sage Robe. The defense boost is still decent, 250, but where it excels is Int, giving you a boost of 500. However, as you'll see later, Int is basically useless in the battle arena. So that leaves us with the Nightmare, which can be found here in the outer wall. She seems like the easiest variant to me, and drops a pretty solidly good armor, the Needle Armor. So let's get to the grinding. So yeah, for those wondering, that was not my first grind session actually trying to get that blasted thing. There were a few that I tried where I just fought until I got killed off without success, and then tried again. But anyway you slice it, we have the Needle Armor. So, to see what it does, let's go ahead and unequip the Night Suit. Needle Armor, plate armor covered in spikes. It gives you 400 defense, so still really nice on the defense boost, but it also gives you 10 points of strength, so overall, this one's actually really nice. But with that, I think we're just about ready to try our hand at the battle arena. This could go really bad. hello, Roll Mithril here once again, getting back to Castlevania Circle of the Moon, and yeah, that was a bit of a grind session. But even with all that, it's no guarantee that we're going to make it all the way through the battle arena. It's a bit of a thing for reasons that you'll see as soon as we get there. But we're going to give it our all. So, yeah, item grinding. It's a thing. As much as I do love the magic system in this game and think it's very cool and interesting, I'm not a fan of the fact that there's no shop system, especially when it comes to restorative items. Put it this way, any enemy that has a chance to drop one of the health restoration items that's actually worth having, they have a less than 1% drop rate for it. Fun times. The collection of health up items that I have, I think it'll restore my life about 1 3/4 times, so hopefully that'll be enough. Also, this is why I've been holding on to all the heart restore items that I got. We're gonna kinda want those. This should be my stop. Yeah. And for the record, we're level 40. 10 levels below what most sources seem to recommend I should be for this. Though, even at level 50, this is no walk in the park. But we'll see how this goes. Also, I hope you really enjoy silence. For some reason, there's no background music here. To step beyond will be to test your ability in the battle arena. Your mind power will be drained. You will not be able to use DSS. Once you enter, you will not be able to leave until all are defeated. Though you may be rewarded for you efforts. So as soon as you set foot in the arena, your magic is indeed drained. Now, if you want, you can use mind restore items to refill your magic, but it'll immediately drain again, so you're not going to get to use any buff spells out of this, but it is enough to get off a quick summon if you want. But I'm going to try and do this without using that. For that matter, I don't actually think I have any mind restore items. So each room has its own set of enemies that you have to deal with before you can move on. Basically, it's sort of an endurance test. You can still gain experience and levels here in the arena, and enemies that can drop items will still do so. That's actually going to be important to us because there are a couple of enemies late in the arena that drop the final 2 cards. So, yeah, that's super fun. Some rooms are worse than others. There are about 3 or 4 that I'm really not looking forward to. In total, there are, I believe, 17 rooms. That actually wasn't too bad. This isn't one of the rooms that I hate most, but the wind demons can still be a bit of a problem. You will occasionally get these rooms where you can get some hearts back. Also, if you want, you can leave early, but be warned, this is not a checkpoint. You can't return to this point. If you leave, you have to restart the challenge all the way from the beginning. This really doesn't feel like it should work, but okay. Oh, that was bad timing. That potion may not be much, but I'll take it. Yeah, the things the whip spin will block versus the things it won't. Sometimes it just does not make sense. That's right, you give me those wristbands, Stoneface on the wall. welcome to skeletons. Don't underestimate them just because they're skeletons. You can take them out quickly, but there's a lot of them, and their attacks can add up fast. But we actually got through that room pretty cleanly. I think that's the cleanest I've gotten through that. Heart items, very, very good. Wouldn't say no to you dropping a few more of those if you want. Apparently you don't want. So this room's pretty safe. Just be ready to block the arrows, and remember that they fire 2 at a time. If you're stronger, you can pretty much just shoulder charge your way through here safely enough. But either way, this is one of the easier rooms. Thanks for that. It is also worth noting there aren't any secret passages in here, at least not that I know of. So, this room sucks. Yes, even the bloody swords here can poison you for some reason. I don't think they could do that earlier. Just kind of want to thin out the hurt a bit. Honestly, I just don't really feel comfortable taking on poison armors with a whip. Poison's just such a horrible status effect in this game. Thankfully, that's the only room where we have to worry about it. And then there's this weird room. These things are basically no threat whatsoever, and if you're lucky, they can drop some good healing items. Note I said, if you're lucky. Which, so far, we aren't. But, yeah. You pretty much just sit here and take them out. Completely and utterly non-threatening. Enjoy the easy rooms while you can. This room can be a bit annoying just because it's very easy to get cursed in here. I want to say this is the only other major room where you have to worry about status effects. No, that's not true. There is one where you have to worry about petrification. Trying to conserve hearts where I can. Because while yes, it would make shorter work of some of the enemies, there are rooms where it's going to be more important that I have the cross. That I just like to use it as kind of an opener just because of how crowded things are at the start. With this, we've reached pretty much the halfway point. Looking on the map, we're going to be going back up on the other side now. And the next room is my absolute least favorite. 7 Minotaurs! I do not know of a clean way to do this room at all. So I just kind of panic and tend to eat a lot of damage here, and use a lot of crosses too. Now I've seen people use double jumps and the up jump thing in order to kind of consolidate all the Minotaurs into one. I've never gotten it to work very well. And it doesn't help that the Minotaurs are, excuse the pun, very beefy when it comes to hit points. This is, for the most part, probably the best I've done this room, though. We've almost got the room cleared out. Once you thin the herd a bit, it's not so bad. Things get a bit more manageable. Though their hitboxes can still be kind of annoying. And they are still way too beefy! There we go. So for the most part, we're still doing pretty okay. In this room, you want to take out the arachnes quickly, just so they don't slow you down. Then it's just worrying about the swarm of succubi here. This is one of the other rooms I'm not a big fan of. There's 3 of each of the enemies in here. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and restore a bit. I'll use my lesser healing items for this. Because, I mean, potions are barely worth it. Normal meat's not much better. Spiced meat is good. Potion high. And that takes us up pretty high in our health, and we have the Potion EX as an emergency full heal later on. Okay, good. Just want to kind of aggro you and be done with you. There we go. This room. Also, not really a fan of this one. It's very easy to get caught in the crossfire with all the enemies around here. Taking out the demon lords first is kinda key. Well, thanks for that. So, with those 3 gone, we can clear out this half of the room at the very least. Just watch for where the vines are coming from. And now we just kind of repeat on this side. With the enemy selection down a bit, it's a bit easier to deal with. Just have to time getting in there to fight the Demon Lord around the vine attacks. I don't know how I dodged all that, but I'll take it. So with that, most of the threats are gone. Now we just need to finish this off. Again, be ready to dodge if the vines are too in the way. This is one of those rooms that I really didn't like, but after watching some videos to gain some strategies, it got at least a bit easier. Magic robe. From the sound, this isn't going to do us a lot of good here, but I just want to see what it is. A robe that has magic within. So, yeah, 200 defense, 300 int, not bad, but it's not going to be good here where int is basically useless. But at this point, I feel like we've been through the worst of it. So we're actually doing pretty good. So this room's all about timing. Timing and having some enemies off screen. There we go. So, here we have the Devil Armor. It functions the same as the Dark Armor, pretty much. Maybe a little more powerful and durable, but the main thing of note is it is responsible for one of the two cards that we're missing. I'm pretty sure I'm holding up an attack. Throw the boomerang, darn ya! The run was apparently going a bit too well. Something had to go wrong. Including my English, apparently. And of course they didn't want to drop the card. Well, that's disappointing. That's a different form of problem. We also have the White Armors. They function basically like Holy Armors. And they are responsible for the other card that we're missing. For some reason, I don't really feel like they're as bad to deal with. Oh, still annoying to be sure. And they can still do a lot of damage, but for some reason they just don't strike me as bad as the Holy Armors were. Potion High, not what I really wanted you to drop, but I'll take it. Please drop the card. Of course not. Oh well. With that, though, we have reached the final room. It's the devil once again. Yeah, he does a lot of damage. But we do have a full heal. So, let's go ahead and use that. This is the final room in the challenge. That did just barely get in there and hit you. And there we go. So with that, the battle arena is clear, and our reward is the shinning armor. Okay, sure, why not? Okay, so the shining armor, I'm pretty sure it was supposed to be, armor that gleams with light. So, yeah, just to fully show what this can do, we'll unequip that. And so yeah, this is 500 defense and 10 to every other stat, so it's actually pretty good. It's comparable to the dark armor. That one gives you 550 defense, but it takes 10 away from every other stat. So, overall, really good. So now we just have the problem. Those 2 cards we needed, they didn't drop. And ordinarily that means you would have to go back all the way through the arena to have another shot to get them. But there is kind of an exploit. If you're very careful, you can slide out and then back in, and then the doors remain open. So you can backtrack. Now there is a caveat to this. As soon as you go back forwards through a room going the normal way, and that does include these little areas where you get hearts, the doors will start locking you in again. So that is something to be aware of. However, at the very least you only have to keep going back and forth through the last few rooms, instead of all the way through the full arena again. So, it makes things at least a bit more bearable. If one of you would be so kind. And still no. Proof of concept. And that was a really rude way for that to happen. Thank you so much, Devil Armor. But, yeah, with that, I guess as long as I'm here, I'm gonna have to grind a bit. So, let's speed things up a little, shall we? And so with that, we finally have all the cards. With Unicorn and Black Dog, our deck is complete. However, between the arena and all the grinding sessions, this vid's been going on long enough already, so we'll save the final card demos for the start of the next vid. However, I will leave you with a quick warning I found out while working on the card grind. If you have to grind Devil Armors for the Black Dog card, be careful you don't get launched back out the open door by one of the evil pillars hitting you and petrifying you. Since it counts you as going forward through a door, it locks your controls for the quote-unquote cinematic walk out the door so it can lock behind you. But if you're petrified it can't move you, lock the door, and return your controls. So that's a fun little soft lock to avoid. But with that, that's where we're going to call it for now. So thank you very much for watching, I hope you're enjoying the series, and I shall see you again next time. Until then, fare thee well.